Well, Governor Ron DeSantis is on the campaign trail. His multi-state tour has taken him to Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina.
And DeSantis spoke yesterday evening in Greenville, South Carolina, touting his resume as governor here in the Sunshine State. Wink News reporter Claire Galt is along for the ride, following DeSantis on the campaign trail in Greenville. She has a look at how Governor DeSantis is being received by voters.
With DeSantis' 2024 signs raised high, Southerners in Greenville, South Carolina made it clear they believe Florida's governor is presidential material.
He's got an incredible amount of common sense and wisdom, and he's brilliant.
I like a lot of the policies that he's done in Florida, and I just think that he'd be a good president and a good role model for a lot of citizens around here, and I think that's what we need right now.
I know he's getting my vote.
Dean Estep had a feeling he was going to like DeSantis, but he needed to see him to believe in him. And now that he's seen him,
he's the real deal, and I'm very impressed.
The Navy vet fit in just as well in the Low Country.
He served in Iraq just like I did.
I caught up with DeSantis at a barn in Lexington. That's where I met Patrick Dubai, who told me he wants a piece of what DeSantis did for Florida for South Carolina.
You know, he's fighting against the woke narrative.
After DeSantis spoke, he met with me for a moment.
How does your message change, as you go from Floridians to South Carolinians to Iowa to New Hampshire, or does it?
Well, the principles are the same. I mean, at the end of the day, you have certain fundamental ideas that are important. Of course, there's different issues that you address on a national stage versus what you're addressing in Florida. But I think it's what's your approach to leadership, what's your underlying philosophy and principles, and are you going to be willing to dig in there and fight for those things under pressure? And I think in Florida, clearly, we showed when the weight of the world comes down on me, if you need support, I will be there for you. We saved a lot of people's jobs and livelihoods and education in Florida, and that's exactly what we would do in the United States.
35 weeks before the South Carolina primary, DeSantis had a good day. But he could not yet make voters forget former President Trump. But there's time.
Regardless of what you think about Trump, he did some really good things for our country. I want to make sure that is brought back and continues on. So whether that's in DeSantis or Trump, it remains to be seen.
Now, what's interesting is that both DeSantis and Trump are 1 and 2 in the polls here, ahead of the two presidential candidates from South Carolina, former Governor Nikki Haley and Senator Tim Scott. In Greenville, South Carolina, Claire Galt, Wink News.